All right, good afternoon, everybody. Um, it is currently 1:30. So for the people who are already emailing me asking questions about the assignment, hopefully this will explain things a little bit. Okay. So first off, I apologize for not getting this out a little bit sooner. My goal is to try to get it out by 10. Um, once you get older, you will understand. If you have a little one at home, you don't really make the plans anymore. So he took over for a little bit, but it doesn't mean we can't do this now. Okay, so this will be week one, assignment two material. So the goals for today is to cover some notes. So if you don't have the notes pulled up, you should do that. Pause me and do that, and then we will talk about the poplet along with your homework a little bit. Okay, so let's go to, once again, either of the classrooms, doesn't matter. So we'll just say C, and people are already working on this without seeing the actual assignment, so that should be interesting. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully you guys did your homework. Looks like 6 of you in third period at least did not do it. So make sure you do that sooner than later. I will probably send out a little reminder on Classroom, even though I did that yesterday. But I'll do the same thing tomorrow for this homework. Just saying, reminder that what is due, when it's due, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So go ahead and pull up these notes. All right. Unit 4, Chapter 10, and let's start to go through these. So the good thing about this is, in the classroom, we might have to go at a fast pace, a slow pace, whatever. But a pro of online learning is that you can pause this video and kind of, go at your own pace. So if I don't talk clear enough or I don't explain things well enough, then shoot me an email. But otherwise, you can pause me at any point and make sure you get these notes down. Excuse me. Um, on this unit, when we get into our poplet, which is what is your homework today, um, you'll be able to use this poplet on the test. Now, whether that is an online test or whether that's an in-person test, whatever it is, you'll be able to use it on the test. Okay, so make sure you are updating that pretty frequently. That's one reason why it's going to be part of our homework, is because I want to make sure you guys are doing it a lot. Okay. Um, but we'll get into that a little bit later here. Okay, so Unit 4, Chapter 10 notes, nutrition and diet. Okay, so before we begin, for the actual homework, you will need this app called Poplet Lite, Popplet Lite. Okay, and the icon looks just like this. The app looks just like this on self-service. Okay, um, so you need to be downloading that. You don't have to do it right now, but make sure you do it, for homework tonight. Okay. That was the homework yesterday. Once again, hopefully you did that. And let's go through our goals. So lesson one is the nutrients here. So our goals, red goal, learn what a carbohydrate, protein, and fat is, as well as their different types. We will cover the carbs of that today. Two is the blue goal, understand what each nutrient provides and their main sources. And three, green goal, at least it looks like green, look at the types of vitamins and minerals we need. Okay. So, like I said, we'll be covering the red goal today, at least some of it, and the red goal will take probably most of the time, throughout this lesson at least. Okay, so be ready to attack all of that. All right. So with the poplet, you'll have your proteins, your fats, vitamins, minerals, um, and your carbs. But there's a lot of information here already that will not necessarily be on the poplet, but you'll need to know for the test. Okay, so this shouldn't be just a poplet only unit, especially since we're online. I want to make sure you guys are actually retaining this stuff. Um, more so now than ever. So this is some information that you're going to need to know that doesn't necessarily have to be in your poplet anywhere. Okay, but if you want to put it in your poplet, feel free to. All right. So nutrients, these are just nutrition terms. Nutrients, substances in food that your body needs to grow, repair, and give you energy. Okay. Calorie. So these are counted calories, however you want to word it. A unit of heat used to measure the energy your body uses and the energy it receives from food. Okay. So there's a two part to that. That's the energy you bring in, so the food you consume. People always count calories. You'll hear that a lot. Um, or someone's on a 2,000 calorie diet. Okay, they try to eat 2,000 calories that day from the food that they consume. Okay, and we'll look at nutrition labels in the future. So not essential right now, but we need to know how this works. Okay, so calories. We consume calories from the foods we eat. So some are very caloric dense, where there's a lot of calories in that type of food, and others there's not. So figuring out which foods give us the best value for the calories we are consuming is really the key to staying healthy, at least when it comes to eating healthy. Okay. And then calories, we talk about burning calories as well. So if you guys have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch that does that for you, take a look at that at the end of the day. So even if you don't work out, or even if let's say you work out for an hour and you burn, I don't know, 500 600 calories. Okay, so you can add it up. If you want to be specific, you can add those things up of saying, okay, I consume 2,000 calories a day and I burn 600 calories from this workout. And then walking around doing normal physical activity, maybe you burn another 300. So maybe that's 900 calories burnt throughout the whole day when you brought in 2,000 calories. Okay, so leaving 1,100 calories left, and that is the calories that will be stored as fat. Okay, so start to understand that the way you guys eat and what calories you burn, it plays a huge role. Now, of course, there are other things that come into play, such as predisposing health factors, um, diseases, disorders, kind of thing. But for the most part, we'll just cut and simple, very simple, bringing in calories and burning off calories. Okay. Appetite, so the psychological desire for food. Maslow, if you remember him, from our last unit, he was the guy that talked about the triangle, his hierarchy of needs, and food was at the very bottom of that. Food, shelter, water. Okay, those physiological needs that all humans need. Okay, so talking about appetite, this is the psychological desire for food. Okay. So psychological desire meaning we think we are hungry. Okay. Now hunger itself is the natural physical drive to eat, the body's need for food. So make sure you understand the difference between those two, because they sound similar, but they mean different things. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So we're just going to cover the six key nutrients very quickly. We're going to go into each one of these in depth here in a little bit. So don't get too caught up on this right now. But let's just start. So there are six key nutrients that we are going to cover that eventually your pop will be filled with. Your homework for today is to cover just the carbs, the carbohydrates. Okay. So when it comes to carbohydrates, there are three types. There's simple, complex, and fiber carbs. And we're going to go into each one a little bit more in depth here in about 2 slides or so. So don't, like I said, don't get caught up on it right now. We're going to come back to it. Proteins is another key nutrient. So these are amino acids. There are 20 of them that we use, and we produce 11 of these already. So that means we only have to go out and find 9 of them through our diet. So, those are called essential and non-essential. But once again, we'll get into those more specifically. Number 3 is going to be fats, aka lipids. So make sure you have lipids in there in your poplet. There are saturated, unsaturated, and trans fats there. Number 4 is going to be water. Now, we won't cover water a whole lot, but it is one of the 6 key nutrients, so, we have to address it at least. Number 5 is vitamins. These are compounds found in food. And 6 is minerals, elements found in food. Now, looking at this triangle here on the right side of your screen, you can see the 6 key nutrients in a pyramid, obviously. Now, you can say that each level, okay, you can see each level is bigger than the next. If you're going top to bottom. So starting at the bottom here is water. So this is saying that we need most out of these 6 nutrients, we need water. Okay. And we've covered, why we need water, so we don't need to go into that. But then going up one more level, the next thing we need is carbs. The next is proteins. Next is fats, minerals, and then vitamins. Okay. So in that order is how much we need of each nutrient. Okay. And you'll see this little bar on the left side here indicating that carbs, proteins, and fats provide us with all of our energy. Okay. And we'll get into the percentages here in a second, but Carbs provide most of our energy, but these three primarily are responsible for giving us the energy we need throughout our day. Okay. And in the same order as how we're going to burn it. So we're going to burn our carbs first, then our proteins, and then we get to that fat burning zone, which is, why it's so difficult for people to burn fat, to lose fat, because it is our last energy source that we need to burn through um, when we talk about, burning calories. Okay. But, uh, just understand, why you understand for sure that carbs, proteins, and fats are our three main energy sources. But we still need water as the main component for us. Okay, now talking about carbs, this is going to be where where our poplet starts. Okay, um, so you know, I'll go through the poplet and specifically here in a second, but we need to cover this information first. Now, a lot of this information can probably just be copy and pasted from this slide onto your poplet. But I want to make sure that you guys get all this information down. Okay. Um, Now, a lot of this stuff you will be asked specifically questions. So on a test, I might say simple carbs are what, complex carbs are what, okay, stuff like that. So make sure you guys be as specific and as in depth with this stuff as you can, okay? Excuse me. So carbohydrates. These are starches and sugars found in foods, which provide your body's main source of energy. So, like I said, it is our main source of energy. So this is where our body's going to pull most of our energy from throughout the day. So, um, I'm sure you guys have heard of people who are running a 5K or running a long race or doing a big workout. The day before they will say that they will carbo load. Okay, that is to get as many carbs in the body as possible because that is the body's first source of energy. So when you're doing that long workout or that long run, whatever it is, or that competition, um, your body's first line of defense is going to be these carbs. So, what you eat the night before is what your body's going to be running off of, especially if it's an event early in the morning. Okay. So understand that, a lot of athletes, obviously, here at Baden. So make sure you guys understand, what you eat the night before is what your body's going to be running off of the next day. Okay. So we get 45 to 65% of all of our daily calories from carbs. Okay, like I said, carbs supply a lot of things for us. Um, we have three types of carbs. We have simple, complex, and fiber carbs. So, looking at simple carbs, these are sugars. So, one common one is fructose. Anything OSE, if you ever are reading an ingredients label, ingredient list, anything OSE is going to be a sugar. So, these simple carbs, these are sugars found naturally in fruits and are added to a lot of processed foods. Okay, so found naturally, but added to a lot of processed foods. We have complex carbs. So these are starches, chains of sugars linked together. Very easy example are our grains. Okay, so our potatoes, our breads, pastas. These are complex carbs. So a lot of times these are, what people think of carbs as, especially with pasta and beans and breads, carb loading the day before. Potatoes, of course. Um, so those are complex carbs. And then we have fiber carbs. So a tough, complex carbohydrate that the body cannot digest. So fiber is responsible for making us go to the bathroom. Okay, helps move waste through the digestive system. Okay, so a lot of times if an individual is constipated and they go to the doctor, they're going to ask you, how much fiber are you intaking? Okay, how much fiber do you eat? That might be an issue of the digestive system not being able to or not getting enough fiber to help move the waste out of the body. Okay, so simple carbs, complex carbs, fiber carbs. So carbs continued, and I get this question every year about do we need examples on the poplet? I would say that it definitely helps you guys to have examples on the poplet so you can make more sense out of it. But it's not, I won't be necessarily asking you questions on food examples. So I probably won't ask you guys what is a type of carb, and you'll have to give me a food type. Okay, it'll be more based around the simple, complex, and fiber carbs more than saying these examples here in the bottom right. Okay. So anyway, let's get back into these notes here. I think this is yeah, this is going to be the last slide that we'll cover today. So carbohydrates continued. So the body uses carbs when they are broken down into the simplest form. A, a simple sugar is created, aka glucose, a simple sugar, glucose, and then is used in the body as energy. Okay, so this is saying that carbs get broken down. So whether it is a simple, a complex, or a fiber carb, it gets broken down into sugar. And then, this is not necessarily a health topic, but it gets broken down into sugar, goes, moves into the cells, talking about how sugar, how glucose, energy is produced, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the sugar moves into the body as energy. It gets transferred into energy, and then we burn it off pretty fast. Okay. Um, and like I was saying before, if it is unused, it is stored and used later in intense activity. Okay. So talking about carbs being the first thing to go. So, talking about that 2,000 calorie diet and burning 900 of it and having, those calories left over, whatever is not used will be used first. Okay. So talking about going back to here where we get 45 to 65% of daily calories from carbs. Okay. Whatever is not used is going to be stored and used the next time we have intense activity. Okay. So looking at carbs, proteins, and fats, knowing that those are three sources of energy, whatever is not used always gets stored. Okay. But carbs is going to be the first thing that our body is going to run off of. So if we were today to eat, a bunch of carbs, tomorrow it's what our body would be running off of. And even if we didn't use it then, it would still be saved and be the thing that we run off of, later in that day. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a morning activity. It can be, it's an all day kind of thing. Okay. Um, so yeah, if it is unused, it is stored and used later in intense activity. Okay. And then you can see we start getting into the proteins. But what I want to do now is go and look at the poplet. So this is what you guys will be doing for homework. Okay. Um, now there's two ways that you can be doing this. Excuse me. Um, so, this is good, especially for the visual learners. Of different ways to do this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is type in 6 key nutrients. Okay, so this is going to be your 6 key nutrients poplet. Now from here there's two things you can probably do. So you can so what you're going to do is you're going to grab this little dot here and you're going to drag it off to the side. Okay, and here you're going to type carbohydrates. Whoops, carbohydrates. There we go. Okay, so we covered carbohydrates, so now you can go into carbohydrates using the material that we have, that we just learned today. Okay, now but before we even do this, I want to show you guys, the different things that you can do here. So, knowing that we have our 6 key nutrients of carbs, proteins. And this is going to be a lot easier for you guys on an iPad than it is for me on this computer. Carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and of course, water. Okay. And the good thing about this is you can zoom out at any time. And like I said, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to move your screen with your iPad. Okay. So what I want to show you guys is the different ways that you can kind of do this. All right. So this is one way. We'll call this just the tree method. Okay. So, from here we can branch out and, connect the dots for trees, the different branches. Okay. So here we know would be our simple carbs because that is a type of carb, our complex carb, and our fiber carb. Okay. So, even from there, you would continue with more information from those. Okay. So you can see how eventually this thing is going to be massive, right? Okay. But what I want to show you is some different ways to use this. So first off, this is what makes sense to me. So if it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. It needs to be however you guys want to use this. Okay. Let me line these up real quick. So like I said, we'll call this the branch out method, the tree method. But then there's also the spider web. Okay, so instead of having it all fall down, you could potentially have it all spread out different ways going from the center. Okay, so it's totally up to you guys how you want to do this. All right, so this is a spider web. The other way was the tree. Now, like I said, the tree makes more sense to me. Now, what I'm going to do is switch over to a different slide here that I already have ready to go. And you can see that these are different colors here. So I think will be interesting to see how you guys kind of do this. How you're going to change the color here is click this little box, and it gives you a bunch of different colors. So for me, what I plan on doing here is once I have my carbs, I type in my simple, complex, and fiber. Okay, and once again, how you guys start with this is not going to be how it looks in the end, because this thing is going to be huge. So chances are these are going to be spread out a little bit more. But what you can do with the colors here is you can do it by tiers. So you have your first tier black, second tier blue, and maybe you want to turn your third tier. I don't even know what this is. Green. Let's call that green. Maybe you want your third tier to be green. So the next thing you write on fats would be green. Same thing with proteins. The next level down, green. Okay. Or what you could do is change this color and make this green. So you have maybe all your carbs are green, all your fats are blue, all your proteins are red. Okay. So on and so forth. Your vitamins being pink, your minerals being, what color have we not used? Orange. Okay. So it's however you guys really want to do this. I'm leaving it up to you. Okay. So whatever makes sense to you. This is a tool that you're going to use for the test. So however you want to do it for it to make sense to you, however you want to organize it, feel free to. Okay. But for the homework tonight, all you'll be doing is your carbs, simple, complex, and fiber. So you'll be taking the information we got here. So, I would have, basically I would have everything written down from your notes, on both slides, and I would make sure it's on this poplet somewhere. Okay. And it's up to you guys to connect the dots here. So let's just do simple together. Okay. Just so I can show you guys kind of what I'm looking for here. So your simple carbs, these are sugars, fructose found naturally in fruits. So you could even just copy and paste that and plug it in here. Okay, and it's going to blow up a little bit because it needs a little bit more space. So boom, your simple carbs are done. Okay, but make sure you guys aren't forgetting about just normal carb information. Okay, so even though we have the three types down, you need to cover this. So you need to say that it represents 45 to 65%, excuse me, of our daily calories. So 45 to 65% of daily calories. Okay. So just because you have the types of carbs here, don't forget about general carb information. All right. But yeah, that's essentially it, guys. So if you update that today, all you'll do is take a screenshot of it, and then you will be submitting it here on Classroom to, as soon as it loads. Excuse me once again. Well, gotta love technology. No internet. Awesome. Um, yeah, so you guys will be submitting that. It is under week 1, assignment 2, carbs poplet. Okay, so you'll be taking a screenshot of what you have laid out, and you'll submit that as your homework for today. Okay. As always, if you guys have any questions, please email me. I know I'm already getting emails about how do we do this pop load? What is it? Just wait for the video, guys. I'll post everything on there, and then I'll do the video last. So until you see a video, you don't have to necessarily email me, questions on the assignment. Okay, so watch the video, and then if you have questions, of course, always email me. Okay. Um, it's almost 2 o'clock here. The governor's gonna come on here in a second. Uh, Things might start to get a little sketchy, guys. So, not sketchy, that's the wrong word, but things might start to get a little more interesting. All right. So make sure you guys are taking care of your family, taking care of yourselves, of course. Please, please, please try to stay healthy. Try to keep people around you healthy. Okay. This is uncharted territory, right? So we really don't know what's going to happen. You can look at other countries and kind of start guessing on what might happen here. But things are changing a lot. All right. So just make sure you guys are taking care of yourself, taking care of your families, your physical health, your mental health, of course, your social health. I'm sure you guys are strong on that with everything you have. Your cell phones, games, all that kind of stuff. But just make sure you guys are taking care of yourself and your families. Okay. I think that is it for here. So, like I said, if you guys have questions, feel free to email me. And if anything comes up, shoot me an email. All right. I think that is it. Have a good day, guys.